Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz. I am joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and we are going through our must-add players after Week 5. Here's how it's going to work. We're going to go position by position. We're each going to take our favorite player at that position, but if multiple of us pick the same player, we'll do a trivia tiebreaker, and someone gets that player, and then someone else will have to pick a different player. It's kind of like waivers. You'll get it. It's not that complicated. If you're listening, email us ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Send us trivia questions. Put trivia in the subject line. Fantasy Courts. We do Fantasy Courts for our Wednesday episodes, but those are also live on YouTube Tuesday nights on the Ringer NFL YouTube. If you want to go and subscribe there, you can watch. So email us Fantasy Courts as well. And also you could participate in the Sunday show by sending us or just commenting on the Instagrams or whatever, TikTok, and follow us, Ringer Fantasy Football on Instagram and TikTok. Okay, we're going to go through and we're going to do the must-add players. But first, we have to talk about the Steelers-Cowboys ending of Sunday Night Football because the game went till like 1 a.m. And before we even do that, Craig, you're coming to us live from a hotel room where you got a noise complaint. You're there for the Rewatchables in New York, the live show, and you got a noise complaint. Are you able to talk, or do you have to whisper throughout this episode?
I thought it was vintage Tomlin last night. I'm just kidding. It's 2:00 now, Eastern time. I think it's okay if I speak at my full volume. I imagine people are at work. If they're not, then it's honestly on them to be in a hotel room at 2 p.m. That's like the weirdest time to be in a hotel room. So, yeah, look, I shouts out that guy. Maybe maybe we got a new listener. He said he was kind of listening in the other room. He thought it sounded like a podcast. I made sure to point out to him that I wasn't just a crazy person yelling at midnight about football on the phone to like my friend, which is kind of funny because that's like how Guess the Line started. It was just Sal and Bill on the phone at night doing the lines. And maybe that guy was like, oh, yeah. That's what this guy's
People
doing.
Yelling at them in the hotels to be quiet. Like, no.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay now. Unfortunately, it's not okay for the Steelers. Terrible game. They look like crap. The defense doesn't look as strong as it used to be. And you know what? We got a vintage Tomlin performance. Screwing up the timeouts is his bread and butter. Two timeouts used on the defense in the final 5 minutes of the game on a drive that they ultimately let up the game-losing touchdown anyway, and then had no time to potentially get back and kick a field goal with one of the best kickers in the league, Chris Boswell. So kind of a perfect vintage Tomlin performance. This makes sense, though. The Steelers need to be close to 500 for Tomlin to feel something. 4-1 wouldn't have made sense.
Dallas won 20-17, but yeah, they actually took the lead by running the Travis Kelce Chiefs play with a little shovel pass to Kelce right in the middle. DK, were you more impressed by the Cowboys, or were you mostly just kind of disgusted by the overall game, or were you asleep because you're 42?
Well, we forgot to mention last night that this was literally the longest day of football, I think, on record. It started at 6:30 Pacific time and didn't get finished till, I don't know what it was, 11 o'clock, Craig, our time, 10:30.
Because we had the London games all the way to the Sunday Night Football game that someone made a joke that Dak Prescott is the first quarterback to throw an interception in the same game in 2 different days.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it was a bit of a grind yesterday on Sunday. I don't know if I was 100% fully checked into this game. It was also kind of a boring game. Craig was offended when I said that last night.
It picked up in the second half.
It was a trash game. Let's be honest.
It picked up once it got to Monday. Monday night, the Monday morning football was better than the Sunday night football.
Yeah. It was like the after party. It was everyone's punch drunk.
Right. But can I answer with neither? Like, I wasn't really impressed with either team. I thought like Dak Prescott, he had a couple of nice plays, but he also made some pretty big mistakes. Like he was getting into it with CeeDee Lamb. There was a clip going around where CeeDee Lamb was like, we were trying to figure out, like, read lips, what he was saying. I have no idea what he said. Some people were saying like subpar pass.
Or something. Anyone? No one knew.
I don't think that
I spent
was what
like a good 5 minutes trying to figure it out. I know he did not say subpar.
Craig did a Ringer investigation into it. Didn't get to the bottom of it. Pending, we'll find out what he said. Basically, I thought like both offenses kind of inconsistent, kind of ugly. Literally, the leading receiver for the Steelers was Najee Harris with 35 yards.
Pickens, Pickens was back to his old diva self last night. Not running routes, throwing his hands up. He's fully back.
Getting in a fight with a Cowboys guy at the very end of the game there.
His eye tape, whatever that's called, read always fucking open, which got him in trouble. So we're back with Pickens.
Open fucking always.
Oh, open fucking always, right. Which makes less sense than always.
He was not always open.
Why did he write
He was not actually always open.
I don't know. It's weird syntax.
I don't know. I just thought overall it was a weird game. One team had to win. Ultimately, the Cowboys did it. I don't know. I was just kind of glad it was over.
Yeah, look, and now the Steelers play the Raiders next week. Devontae, you don't even have to leave your stadium. You could just stay in Vegas and join the Steelers and be on a different team.
Across. Yeah.
So if you want to keep things easy, Just hang out in Vegas. Just switch jerseys next week.
Jacoby Myers did that when he like threw the ball to the Raiders and then joined them in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean,
3 weeks later.
It's pretty easy.
Oh my
Gotta
God,
say, if you don't like
forgot about
travel.
To the Mike Tomlin point, I will say this was the most classic Steelers game. I think it was kind of easy to see coming just in the, like they're favored. Their Cowboys have no Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. Everything about this kind of said Steelers. And of course they go down and it's actually crazy. I mean, Tomlin's been the coach for 17 years in Pittsburgh, and it's kind of crazy how consistently or 16 years, but it's crazy how consistently they're over 500 is the first thing you think of them, but they really are just always playing up or down to the competition. It is amazing. They are in many ways what DK said of the Seahawks, where they're always close no matter what.
Yeah.
It will be close. Best or worst team in the league, the Steelers playing close. To your point, Craig, I hate when teams just kind of like mindlessly use timeouts to preserve 5-yard like flags. And I know sometimes you do have to take a timeout, but the idea that 100% of the time you are facing a 5-yard penalty, that you should just take a timeout is crazy to me in the end of game situation. You're like, oh, it's 2nd and 10 and there's 12 men in the huddle, take a timeout. Just take the 12 men in the huddle and preserve the timeout. Like the Steelers might have won the game if they had just done that.
100%. I mean, they even called a timeout in the final play of the game or the final play of Dallas's series to try.
Clock wasn't even running, right?
And
that was also a crazy decision.
Yeah, to get a read on what Dallas's offense looked like so they could then adjust their defense, and they let up a touchdown anyway.
That's the defensive coach mentality of like, it's the opposite of someone who's played Madden. It's someone who's just like actually really thinking about, no, we're going to stop him right here. This is the game. But I also have to shout out almost one of the most incredible plays I've ever seen.
Landon Roberts.
In this game. The Landon Roberts, like, you know what it reminded me of? You know in Fast and the Furious, when I think Vin Diesel's fighting one of those nameless henchmen in the 18-wheeler of a truck or in a cargo plane, and he just jumps from like 20 feet away over some boxes and headbutts him, but like from like comically far away. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Every Fast and Furious scene is kind of like that. So yes.
But he just headbutts it. But it was that. He jumped like 10 feet and just headbutted the ball out. And it was like my favorite football play ever is the Troy Polamalu when he got a sack on a quarterback sneak and he timed the snap. But Landon Roberts like did that. He freaking forced a fumble.
With his face.
That was crazy.
With his face mask.
With his face.
Yeah.
That was one of those situations where it's like a physics experiment where the person is going forward, but the ball just stays in the exact same spot and just goes boop. It just like falls like straight down. It just landed behind the pocket right where it had been snapped, essentially, right where it had been handed off. Luckily Dak was there to land on it, but
Dak looked like record scratch freeze frame.
And they got so lucky.
Oh God!
They got so lucky. The ball basically just fell right next to them. Like it didn't bounce any weird way.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have obviously ended the game. So a massive bummer because that play is going to be forgotten because they lost, but it was incredible.
It's one of those where that would have been one of the greatest regular season plays ever if the ball had just bounced slightly differently. The Steelers recovered. The Steelers win the game because Landon Roberts forced a fumble, and then they lost.
Yeah.
And again, I know this is different, but I also think it kind of reminds me of the Malcolm Butler play with the Seahawks, where all we would ever talk about is how Belichick didn't call timeouts on the goal line.
Yeah.
If the Seahawks just run the ball in, or that ball falls incomplete, and then Marshall Lynch just scores, all we would ever have talked about is Belichick didn't call timeouts there.
Yeah,
but it worked.
You know the meme where it's like, the world, if so and so hadn't happened, it's just like this perfect like space age pictures. Like if Malcolm Butler just hadn't done that, that would be my world.
We'd have flying cars.
That's the world I would be living in. But alas, here we are.
All right, yeah. So that was the Sunday longest day ever, and also we didn't even mention that it was actually extra long because if you watched the Cal Miami game, that was College Game Day, and that went to 1 a.m. Eastern into a 9 a.m. London game. So it actually was kind of almost 2 wall-to-wall days. So it was pretty crazy. So, all right.
That's what I'm just expecting Craig to be like, too much football. We got a little too much football.
Especially on the East Coast, man. I don't know what you people are doing out here.
It's worse. It's worse.
What you people are doing out here.
It is worse.
Oh.
Okay, so we're going to get to all our must ads for entering week 6. I can't believe we're here already. That's insane. So Chiefs, Rams, Dolphins, Vikings are on bye. Honestly, my God, the Rams and Dolphins really need a freaking bye.
Yep.
Just goodbye.
Yeah.
And then obviously we haven't, Monday Night Football has not happened yet. So if something crazy happens in Chiefs Saints, obviously take that into account. DK, give us your must add running back, number 1 must add running back entering week 6.
I'm going with Tank Bigsby for the Jags. Every time he carries the ball, he looks awesome. I think that's about like all I need to say here.
Yeah.
He's been incredible. He's still, I think, technically the backup, but they're utilizing much more on the ground early downs. He's got a really good explosive run rate, broken tackles. He continues to sort of just take over take over snaps for ETN. ETN is still going to be the guy on passing downs, I think, because they trust him more in that situation. But I don't know, man. Bigsby looks pretty good running the football. So now's the time to grab him before it's too late.
I have him as well. We're in a real crisis right now. Every backup is better than the starting running back on the team. Bigsby has more yards than ETN on 20 less carries. He leads the league in yards per carry. First in rushing yards over expectation. I mean, he's good.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
And not even just that. Yeah, Adam Leviton had established the run. Had the stat. He's first in rushing yards over expectation. Travis Etienne's 18th. And then Tank Bigsby's third in PFF rushing grade. And Travis Etienne is 55th, which I find hilarious. Also, you can't convince me Doug Peterson doesn't secretly, deep in his soul, kind of hate Travis Etienne a little bit. Just a little.
Yeah, I think you said this in the preseason. I'm like curious what you're picking up on.
Doug Peterson just likes Tank Bigsby more, and he wants to play him more. And I think he resents that the front office drafted Etienne before his time.
The Bigsby renaissance is it reminds me so much of like the Swift thing that's happened this year, where the first 2 games of the year, Swift looked like the worst running back in the NFL. And then all of a sudden he's now the like top 3 running back in the NFL. Bigsby last year had, I mean, I'm not even kidding, an all-time terrible rookie season. It was like, you couldn't have scripted it worse for him. Every time he got a target, it turned into a pick. And he was like one of the worst runners in the NFL. I had given up all hope that he would be any good. And now he's amazing. I don't know how that works. I don't know what happened here.
Do you think
there is no difference between good and bad things, DK?
No, I'll tell you what happened.
Exactly.
This is what the hot redhead Hollywood theory. There can only be one hot redhead in Hollywood at a time. There can only be one good person named Tank in the NFL at a time. And it was Tank Dell.
That's true.
And now it's Tank Bigsby, and Tank Dell sucks.
Yeah, Tank Dell broke his leg and then got shot. And we were like, we still like Tank Dell.
Exactly. We should have saw it coming. I have Tank Bigsby too, so we can do a little Tank Bigsby showdown.
All right. I love when all 3 of us are involved. It is the Tank Bigsby showdown time. Heifetz, do you have anything to address about the way you kind of handle the trivia answers thing?
Yeah, I do. I think I do an exemplary job. I think the allegations of Trivia Gate about me cheating in trivia are unfounded, borderline insulting, and my record of service is exemplary, and I look forward to various apologies from everyone coming forward and accusing me of these baseless accusations.
Baseless? Well, you've been incorrect on two questions this year. I don't find that baseless.
I've been incorrect on 2 questions?
You have offered, you have told us the answer that was ended up being incorrect twice this year.
It's week 5.
How is that cheating? Isn't that me getting worse at my job?
Regardless, you are not an exemplary trivia host if the answers you are giving are wrong.
Oh, well.
Exemplary, it's a sliding scale.
I would argue.
Also, in both times where you were incorrect, you won that round of trivia.
Curious. And it was refunded when I would argue fact checking is difficult when you're not allowed to know the answer. When you're not allowed to know the facts, it makes the fact checking quite complicated.
But I thought what you do is it's like what Sal does with Guess the Lines. He guesses beforehand, then checks the lines and prepares for Bill. I thought you read the question, you gave your answer, then you found out the answer and then fact checked it. I feel like that's what you should do.
That is what I do, and that is what I will now do that more transparently going forward. I will do the Sal where I already have my guess, and I will just admit that.
We also could just have, like Kai give the question.
It's just too complicated. Okay. But I have my guesses, and I give my guesses.
Okay.
And or
maybe we can have Kai as a second fact checker.
The judges, like the judges on Jeopardy, when they check them. Maybe we're going to accept that.
Why don't you guys throw a challenge flag when you want to?
Maybe can Kai be our David Muir, and he's just sitting there fact checking the second we say something.
They're eating the dogs.
Who's David Muir? Is he? the ABC News guy?
Yeah. Who's just fact checking after everything Trump and
we just ignore everything. I thought there would be no fact checking.
No,
I was told there would be
40,000 muscles in an elephant's trunk. I was told there'd be no fact checking.
Did Vance say that?
He did.
Man, that's the best.
I was straight out of the Chevy Chase. I was told there'd be no math.
Oh my God. Anyway, what do we? Take Bigsby.
Okay.
This is from. Added the pronunciation in the email, which is incredible. Spelled Oisin. Oshin.
Oshin.
I am from County Derry in Ireland.
Oh.
where
Hello.
Derry Girls is filmed. And we talked about Derry Girls yesterday. I did. So Oshin would like to do trivia about my wonderful county. And my question is, what is the population of County Derry as of 2021?
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have no idea. I'm ready to go.
County Derry.
I'm ready. I would tell you my answer, but I feel like I would just anchor both of you.
Shit.
Right.
Okay.
Also, Heifetz has had like a day to think about this. DK and I have 10 seconds.
Sure.
Also, Heifetz watches Dairy Girls. Like, is that in the show?
You want me to give you my answer?
He has a better grasp of how rural this is.
50,000. I said 50,000. There.
Oh, man.
Now you no. Now I can't hear shit. If I go first, then you guys have no fucking excuses. Just figured that out.
That was literally the number I had in my mind. Heifetz.
Really? Wow.
So, yeah, like on the dot. So now I'm gonna have to like Price is Right his ass.
I'm ready whenever you are.
I actually feel
right.
so freed by the idea that I'll just go first, and then when you guys lose, you have no recourse.
All right, since it's kind of my thing, I'm gonna take the under 49,999. Craig, what do you got?
Dude, the 49,998. Just trap him there. Trap him there.
Don't you fucking dare. Well, this is to get Heifetz.
Trap him.
10,000.
Oh shit.
The answer
I think
is
it's gonna be over
252,000.
Craig, Heifetz won.
Shocker.
Wow, look at that.
Craig, you had a chance to limit him to literally one answer, and you didn't do it.
I don't play that way. I thought it was going to be like 1,000 people. I thought that was the joke of the question.
250K? Okay.
Usually people don't send in a trivia question unless there's like a unique answer. So I was like,
the unique part was that they're from Derry.
I know, but I was like, I don't know, 250,000 people in a county sounds normal to me. I'm like, trivia is usually about abnormal things. So, I made a miss
I get
there.
Tank Bigsby.
I went low because I always feel like there's fewer people in Ireland than you think.
That's right. That's what I was thinking as well.
It's like there's more Irish people of Irish heritage living outside of Ireland than in Ireland. There's probably more Irish heritage people in New York. Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My wife is like 100% Irish.
Heifetz doesn't have anything to add to this.
I just feel bad that we're like besmirching Rashid and her county.
I'm not
You're
besmirching. I have
there's so
Irish
many people
heritage.
there.
I'm disappointed. I am that it's such a normal amount of people in that county.
Heifetz, my last name is Kelly. I also saw a TikTok from an Irish guy who said, "Don't fucking tell anyone in Ireland if you're Irish. They don't care."
Oh yeah, that guy's really funny. That guy who just like gives you tips on going to Ireland, and he's really funny.
If I go to Ireland, I'll be like, "Hey, I have Irish heritage." They're like, "Yeah, so does everyone I know in my life."
Get in line.
Yeah, nice,
cool, man. That's awesome.
All right, I get Tank Bigsby. DK, who's your number 2 running back then?
Well, this is funny because I'm going to go with Tyrone Tracy, I guess, from the Giants, who looked pretty damn good. 18 carries, 129 yards. I think I saw it was the most rushing yards. Maybe you said this yesterday, Heifetz. Most rushing yards by a rookie running back in the Giants' debut.
In a start, yes.
In a start.
First, in a debut start. He had played, but like he started the game.
19 touches, averaged 6.8 yards per touch. Like he looked pretty explosive. I think there's still meat on the bone in terms of the passing game too, because he wasn't really utilized in the passing game that much in this game. Obviously Singletary is due back and they'll be in a split, but in terms of the other options here, Craig, I'm guessing who you're going to go with here. Trey Sermon was the other one that was kind of
Tracy
at the top
was a
of my
receiver
list.
in college, and I feel like that's going to be the new Jimmy Graham played basketball. But the whole thing is, well, why don't they do that more? It's vision is hard. You can't just have running back vision. But Tracy, he has vision.
He looked great. He looks really good.
Yeah, he looked legit. So that's exciting.
Yes, DK, you're right. I went with Trey Sermon, who, I don't know how good Trey Sermon is, but he had a decent fantasy day because he had a touchdown. He weirdly caught 6 passes with Flacco. He was actually stuffed from the 1-2 other times, so his day could have been even much bigger.
Oh, wow.
Jonathan Taylor, high ankle sprain, still questionable. I'm not sure he's going to play next week. They're playing the Titans, so I will run it back with Trey Sermon one more week. It's not a great week at running back on waivers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will. I think the difference too is that Sermon's probably a better play for this week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If you need this week.
Long term, definitely
Tracy, because they can't just go back to Devin Singletary just being Devin Singletary. Tracy clearly has a lot of juice. And also the Giants play the Bengals this week, which on Sunday Night Football, and the Bengals defense just keeps taking hits. I mean, they also Dax Hill towards ACL. So that's another, he was a safety, cornerback converted safety. So Bengals keep losing people. So
their entire defense is injured at this point.
I will also shout out, if you don't, those guys might be added. And if you don't need someone this week, but you do want to stash Jalen Wright for the Dolphins, because Jalen Wright, 13 carries, 86 yards. Shout out Tyler Brook, who listens to the show. He called him months ago the go home to your wife running back prospect in this year's draft as a rookie because he's basically Raheem Mostert's 5'10", 210 pounds and runs a 4.4. Like he's a perfect Miami Dolphin. But he looks like he looked good in this game. And the Dolphins are on bye, so Mostert came back. Maybe Etienne gets back. All these guys are paper mache, though. Jeff Wilson keeps getting hurt in pregame warmups. Mostert, he played one game and got hurt and came back. Etienne keeps leaving games with issues. So Jalen Wright looks to me like a guy, especially if Tua does come back in a month. Jalen Wright is that guy who I wouldn't be surprised that if Tua comes back and the Dolphins' offense is solid, Jalen Wright has flavors of that league-winning potential. So Jalen Wright's about as high upside by handcuff as
I had him in my list as well as like a stash. Probably don't start him right away.
No,
they're on bye anyway next week, but I think this is like the most basic analysis ever, but Jalen Wright just looks so much bigger than all the other Dolphins players. I feel like this is something that I've seen on Twitter. People have been talking about, like the Dolphins are just the smallest team. They're just too small. Everyone is tiny on that offense and they need some guys that will just bring an element of physicality to the offense. And I feel like Jalen Wright, every time he runs the ball, I'm like, he's just so much bigger than all their other running backs. I don't know if that's going to matter a lot or not, but to me, it's just like, he's very different than what Raheem Mostert and Achane bring.
Yeah. And then the exact opposite of if you need something down and dirty, but you need it for this week. Alex Madison for the Raiders has a long touchdown streak. I mean, he's awful, but like he's a true one night stand. I don't even like him.
They're playing the Steelers too.
Exactly. It's not good.
Ugh.
I would do Roshan Johnson for the Bears, who basically vultured a couple touchdowns from DeAndre Swift. I do think he's going to get the goal line touchdowns. You can do Roshan. I don't think it's super exciting compared to some of these other guys we talked about. Antonio Gibson, and if you're really disgusting, I don't like Antonio Gibson. He was announced as the starter and still sucked. How are you going to play him? But if Drake May's the starter, maybe something happens there. And then I think just want to mention Ty Chandler. But honestly, I think he's like a fraction as exciting as Jalen Wright because Ty Chandler Vikings are on a bye. Aaron Jones got banged up. But I don't even necessarily. I think Ty Chandler, I know I've talked about him a couple weeks ago. I think Ty Chandler you can cut for right now because it's like, I
feel like he's to me, he's a stash type of player just because Aaron Jones he's getting up there in age. Has a history of injuries. Last year, he missed multiple games with, I believe, hamstring and knee injuries or something like that.
Ty Chandler fumbled as soon as he got in the game. He dropped a pitch. He didn't even fumble. He just dropped a pitch that was in his hands. And then they brought Myles Gaskin in. And then he's on buys. Aaron Jones will be back. So you don't feel bad if you cut Ty Chandler. Although, yeah, but any week Aaron Jones misses, he'd be good. Any other running backs? You guys want to move on?
Let's go.
Dare Ngumbawale? That's like
I refuse.
Deep leagues. And that's about it. Yeah.
All right. Wide receiver. DK is your number one wide receiver in week 6.
Darnell Mooney from the Falcons, who
best player in the league.
Essentially like a 1A and 1B. This is one of the more, I think, surprising storylines in fantasy this season is that Darnell Mooney is like a huge focal point for the Falcons. 24% target rate. Drake London has a 26% target rate. So they're very close to just being sort of a 1A and 1B. Kirk loves him. They use him on bubble screens. They use him on quick throws. They throw deep to him. He had two more touchdowns in this last game, 16 targets from Kirk Cousins. Last week, obviously, they threw a ton. I think it was like 58 passes. That's not going to happen every week. But yeah, Darnell Mooney, he's turned into like an every week starter at this point. It's very shocking to me, but it's kind of the case.
I have him as well. If he's eligible, I'm definitely taking him. He's a guy who I always thought actually looked good early on in his career, and he's just been kind of stuck with a lot of bad quarterbacks. He was injured. So it's nice to see him actually kind of show the potential I thought he had, but it's definitely him.
He had a 1,000-yard season.
Yeah. We can do Mooney. Do we even want to just graduate him to like, obviously it's him and then go to the next guy?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think we could just graduate him because I think, he's also just like the guy who pops up on waivers and he's sorted to the top because he had 27 points. So I think if Mooney's available in your league, you can go get him. DK, if he's already rostered, who would you get?
I was going to say, I think the real question with Mooney is like, if you have Mooney, it's like, who are you playing him over?
So high.
Maybe we can get into that on Thursday, but like,
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like maybe we can do that on Thursday, but there's a lot of guys that you're like, man, like I'm starting him over Michael Pittman, right? Like there are a lot of dudes.
Just like do the blind taste test or whatever. Start the blind start.
Yeah. Like, am I starting him over George Pickens? Like maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. So my second guy on this list would be Josh Downs. Is he eligible for you guys too?
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks he's outperformed Michael Pittman. The big caveat here, of course, is that Joe Flacco is massively, massively important to Josh Downs' production. So I don't know. Like, I guess I'm just assuming that Flacco might get another shot at this, but that might be wrong. They may just end up going straight back to Anthony Richardson. Sounds like Richardson wasn't really that close to playing last week because of this hip pointer issue. After another week off, maybe he'll be ready to go again. But Downs, I mean, regardless, Downs is going to get a pretty high target rate, whether it's Richardson or Flacco. I think Flacco obviously just raises the ceiling in terms of the pass volume. So, but ultimately, I like Josh Downs as a player. I think he's good, and I think he's sort of the number 2/1A 1B with Michael Pittman in this offense right now.
Downs has been fantastic with Flacco. There are a lot of numbers that put him on like Malik Neighbors levels in terms of like first downs per route run, targets per route run. He is like really, really performing with Flacco. 9 catches a game with him. But yeah, I mean, what a weird scenario where they're going to bring in their starting quarterback, probably lose to the Titans, and then have to figure out what they want to do going forward here.
Craig, is Downs your number 1 receiver?
Yeah. Although it's close, but yes, it's all dependent on Flacco, because I think there's another guy. I think Jalen Tolbert on the Cowboys is a close 2 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to take Jalen Tolbert just because I think Josh Downs is every week. Josh Downs plays with Joe Flacco. I would rank Downs over Flacco, but the difference is I think Jalen Tolbert. I feel like you're basically just adding Jordan Addison, like, or you know how like the first month of the season it was whoever was the number 2 receiver to Justin Jefferson just caught a touchdown like for 5 weeks in a row. Basically, it was like Jordan Addison, or sorry, he wasn't playing, but then it was like Jalen Naylor, Jordan Addison came back, touchdown. Like whoever's the number 2 to Justin Jefferson's just vacuuming touchdowns. That's how it worked with Julio Jones. Brandon Cooks is on injured reserve. He got an infection after a knee injury. The Giants played Thursday Night Football versus Dallas. Brandon Cooks was supposed to get a routine knee surgery, and he got an infection. He's on IR. I don't know when he's coming back. He's eligible in a month. I don't know if he's going to come back in a month. So I think Jalen Tolbert's basically like adding a Jordan Addison on waivers. And he had 7 catches, 87 yards in the touchdown last night. Sorry, Craig. But I think Tolbert's just like a perfect... he will be able to contribute for like all season for a high octane offense in a way, and especially if the Dallas defense is bad, a lot of shootouts. So I'll go Tolbert.
I think I'm going to switch. I want Tolbert.
Okay.
All right. I convinced you.
But we're going to still do trivia?
Yeah, but it'll be for Tolbert. Also, Heifetz, I respect your attempt for fairness, but I don't think you should give us the answer early. That doesn't feel right.
My answer.
Yes, I don't think you should give us your answer early and let us anchor, because then we could just screw you every time. Like I don't think that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate your trust in my
Even
fairness.
though we did not take the opportunity to screw you at all.
Yeah.
Well, you did.
I tried.
Not me.
Craig
didn't.
Craig
No.
was just
You
not
said
doing
we.
it.
You did though. He denied.
I took the high road. I respect the game.
DK took the low road, and it's noted.
Okay.
All right. Next up all right. So we have a showdown time.
Yeah, it's a Jalen Tolbert. Sorry, everybody in this hotel. Showdown time.
It would be so amazing if Craig got a noise complaint.
We
Hey
read if
man,
they
sorry, I'm
could
just
hear
trying
the
to
gong.
work. I'm taking a bunch of Zoom meetings, and I guess you have Jalen Tolbert and a gong in there. But
Turn
I
the
don't know,
gong
man.
up, Craig, in there and see what they do.
They're like, hey, man, I heard you talking about Jalen Tolbert. You're nuts. It's definitely Michael Wilson. I'm like, okay.
All right, this is from Mike.
Mikey.
For 14 seasons of the Great British Baking Show,
Oh, Jesus.
It's just all things Heifetz mentioned on last night's show.
how many Hollywood handshakes has Paul Hollywood given out to contestants?
Wow.
In
So
14
DK, do you know what
seasons?
that is?
No, I don't even know what that is.
I guess this is
Well,
good. That
you know what? You got all the wars. You
You did get
I don't
all
know
the
what
wars.
the bulge and the Battle of the Bulge was.
everyone learns about World War II in school. No one fucking learns about British baking show.
Dude, I bet you a lot of people.
Growing
You
up.
know how many people
Dude,
watch the British Baking
please.
Show on Netflix?
Yeah,
It's-
more than people
that's-
who watch the History Channel,
That's
bro.
definitely true.
It's not mandatory in school, though.
It should be. So DK,
Yeah.
Paul Hollywood is
That's
one of
not
the
what I'm
judges on Great British Baking Show. And
It's like Simon Cowell of baking.
Yes.
Is he the blonde guy?
Yes.
Is his
No.
name really Paul
Oh,
Hollywood?
he has white hair.
I know, right?
White hair.
Yeah, he's white hair. No, that's Gordon Ramsay with the blonde
Wait,
hair.
his real name is Paul Hollywood?
Is that right?
Well, I don't know if it's his
That's
real name,
incredible.
but it is what he goes by.
Anyway, he's one of the 2 judges on the show, and he very rarely gives out a handshake if somebody bakes a perfect item.
So it's like the highest honor
Yes.
to get a Hollywood handshake. By the way, I think his real name is Hollywood. That's incredible. Okay.
What's Tom Cruise's real name again?
Tom Mapother.
I bet he's Paul Mapother.
Paul John Hollywood, MBE.
I can't believe him and Tommy Shelby both got an MBA. That's such bullshit. OBE or MBE?
Well, this one says MBE, most excellent order of the British Empire.
Emails at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Someone in England explained to us the difference between OBE and MBE.
Yeah, how do you get, does this mean we should be calling him Sir Paul John Hollywood?
I won't call him SPJ. No.
Okay.
No. Anyway,
also,
yeah, it's a rare thing.
How many seasons? You said 14 seasons?
14 seasons.
Man. Okay.
it's such a good show.
Yeah.
I want to go on it. I could bake. Definitely not at that level, but I could.
You sent us banana bread once.
I did across the country. So you didn't even have it at its peak freshness.
Craig and Heifetz sent me cookies for my birthday, by the way. Thank you for that.
We didn't,
much
we didn't
appreciated
bake those, but yeah.
Yeah, but still, they were good.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
28.
42.
50. I said 50.
I said
42.
I said 28. I think
I just figured 3 a season.
I said 2 a season. I think he's been giving them out more lately. I think he used to be very strict with them.
He used to be a withholding father. Now he's
getting a little
more
softer in his old age.
Yeah. Like the Netflix era made it more visual. Okay, the answer is 53.
Oh,
yes.
Look at that. See, DK, when you know less about stuff,
I know. Actually, almost Heifetz. I almost said before we did the trivia, I'm like, I'm probably gonna win this one because I have no fucking clue.
There you go. Like fantasy football.
Yeah.
Well, you get downs anyway, so Heifetz, that means you get Tolbert. God damn it.
Oh yeah. I wasn't even computing.
I don't love where I'm at. This was kind of a two player tier here.
I think there's one person you should just take.
Well,
can I make a case for you?
Well, I think long term I should take Jalen Polk. But
dude, every year there's a guy who's available that we're like, fuck that guy. Alec Pierce for the Colts. He now had a great game with Joe Flacco. Alec Pierce went out and had 3 catches for 134 yards and a touchdown. And it's like, oh, the target share's not good. He's not getting the ball enough. He's the only one of the Colts who has had an awesome performance with Flacco and Anthony Richardson.
You just got done tucking me out of Josh Downs or tucking Craig out of Josh Downs. And now you want to go to the guy that gets fewer targets?
Downs and Tolbert are gone. I don't know. At some point, it's funny that Alec Pierce is like, is he still a top 15 receiver in the entire season?
Yeah.
At some point, we're like, no, not that guy. I'm like, I don't know. That's my take.
The HR meme. I love it.
At some point, just take Alec Pierce.
Yeah.
He's Deshaun Jackson, basically, for fantasy spreadsheet terms. He's basically Deshaun Jackson. He'll get you 22 or 2.2 every week.
He's
which
Rashid
is pretty
Shaheed with worse PR.
Yeah, it's actually pretty helpful.
He's the 23rd receiver, or wide receiver 23 on the year so far.
Just on waivers.
I still think long term you should get Jalen Polk. Because Drake May might be back this week, and Jalen Polk, I think, is going to be the number 1 on this team. He's playing 100% of New England snaps last week. Almost had a touchdown. Probably should have had a touchdown.
Great ass. Average separation score. Shout out fantasy.
Amazing.
Great ass for Jalen Polk.
Derriere.
Derriere extraordinaire.
I'm going to go with Michael Wilson on the Cardinals.
You made up that name, right?
Michael Wilson has more catches and targets than Marvin Harrison this year. And they're playing the Packers, and it's going to be a shootout. And Michael Wilson has been relatively consistent this year. So I'm going to play it safe.
Michael Wilson, a.k.a. Demure T. Higgins.
Is that what you said? He's a good player. He was one of those guys that prior to the Senior Bowl, no one really knew much about him. He would not done a whole lot in his career at Stanford because he was injured a bunch of times. And then he dominated the Senior Bowl, and everyone was like, who the hell is this guy? He's so good. And he basically, he parlayed a really good performance at the Senior Bowl into, I think he was a 3rd round pick, and now he's a starter for the Falcons, for the Cardinals. I think that the other factor here is they're not really scheming up looks for Marvin Harrison. It doesn't feel like he's just kind of a part of their offense. And
he's 3rd on the team in targets behind Trey McBride and Michael Wilson.
So that definitely benefits, the number 2 guy in this offense, where defenses are going to tilt their coverage to Harrison and open things up for Wilson.
Okay. Tight end. Not a great
tight end. I don't even know why we do the tight end thing every week.
I don't know either. I mean, again, Monday Night Football, I don't know what you guys have. Saints Chiefs haven't played yet. Taysom Hill's out this week. Do you guys have Taysom Hill? If Taysom Hill's healthy, and I know it's tough because you don't know if he's going to play next week, but every tight end could have 1 point. And if we're in a league, if you're in a world now where tight ends, all of them could just go 1 or 2 catches in a game, I'm like, you might as well have Taysom Hill, who has now rushed a touchdown in for the Saints as a quarterback and a running back. And I'm like, I would just go. We all have him, right?
Let's put Taysom Hill as our obvious candidate to be top for the rest of the season. But then like, I think we should choose guys that we know will be playing next week for people that need to like stream tight ends.
So if Taysom Hill's available, you should add him just because he's the guy. Oh, man.
Rest of the season, I would say he probably has the highest odds of being something.
Not even close.
The first guy I had on my list, and this is based on the fact that multiple other players have bye weeks coming up, but I guess Tyler Conklin for the Jets, who
I can't
6
imagine
targets,
watching
55
the Jets.
yards. The tough part about Conklin is in this last game, and shouts to Nathan Yonke at PFF for pointing this out. Like the Jets started using a heavier rotation, and Tyler Conklin at tight ends, I should say, and Tyler Conklin wasn't really playing on 2 tight end sets because he's not as good of a blocker. He's basically just a pass catching type of tight end. And so previously he'd been playing a ton of snaps. This last week, he didn't play nearly as many. So again, once again, like pickings are extremely, extremely slim. But Conklin, I actually picked him up in a couple of leagues, and he kind of got me through the week with a 655 line, 6 catches, 55 yards. I mean, that's like about as good as you can hope for at this point with like any of these tight end streamers.
Food, water, atmosphere. I feel like that's
I don't know. His last 3 games, 9 targets, 6 targets, 8 targets.
Yeah, he sees a lot of work. It's Conklin if I have to pick somebody other than Taysom Hill.
I would say also Colby Parkinson, but the Rams are on bye this week. Parkinson had 13 targets in this last game. So if you don't need one for this week, Parkinson going into week 7 would be better.
So depressing.
Ugh. I guess I would take Tyler Conklin. I guess. Sure. Fine. Whatever, man.
All right.
Beggars can't be choosers. What do we got? Who else do we have here?
Dude, Cade Otton. Yeah, right.
Cade Otton.
My nemesis, Cade Otton,
right.
not doing that.
Next. So this is Showdown Times from Dave.
Wait.
Oh, you got to do the thing, Craig.
It is the Tyler Conklin Showdown time.
Yeah. He deserves a whisper. We can't let other people hear we're talking about that.
I should have whispered his name.
Someday, if we get big enough, can we get a real gong?
Absolutely.
I have
Craig
a real
can
gong.
just do it. You have a gong?
You have a gong?
Why have you not told us this?
Oh, I bought it. I actually
bought it once?
in case I would do it.
What does that mean?
No, I did buy it only one time, but I bought it actually in case we would use it for the show.
You bought a gong for the purposes of the show?
Yeah, I did.
How big is this gong you're talking about?
You know what's so fucked up?
What?
I threw it away 2 days ago because Jackie was like, "Are you ever going to use
threw
this?"
it away?
How big was the gong?
It wasn't big. It wasn't like cool. It was like this big, and I threw it away. Jackie was like, "Are you going to use this? You had this for like a year and a half."
Heifetz made like a square, like maybe a foot.
It's like the size
wide.
of a basketball.
Yeah, it's like the size of. Yeah, it's like a size of a.
The circumference of a basketball.
Yeah, like an open laptop. I don't know. No, it's small. A closed laptop. But yeah, I actually just threw it away because I was like, I'm never going to use this.
I just love the idea of Heifetz like walking out to his trash can, tossing a fucking gong in there.
Somberly.
Yeah, I know.
There's a guy across the street looking at him. He's like, the wife? Heifetz is like, the wife.
You guys ever seen Scrubs? The sex gong?
No.
I don't know that one.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh,
that's why Heifetz bought it originally.
Is this from Dave?
This is from Dave.
David.
The Addams Family had 2 creepy seasons on TV in 1964 and 1965. How many total episodes were there of the Addams Family?
They've only had 2 seasons? Only had 2 seasons?
I know. I find that shocking. But yeah, 64, 65.
For the record, I was not alive at this time.
Okay.
For those of
no
you
one
who
was thinking it, but
yeah, I don't think anybody assumed that.
All right.
How many episodes in 2 seasons of the Addams Family in the mid 60s?
You guys seem thinking.
Like
I feel like
seasons used to be a lot longer.
Oh, well, now I had my note. Well, you're probably right.
But I'm like, is there anything interesting about this trivia fact, or is this just like, is there something? Well, we talked about the Addams Family on Friday. I guess
it's just topical.
Okay, it's more topical, not unique.
Well, I was going to say a number, and now DK's got me thinking.
Yeah, I feel like we're all going to
think about that being longer,
but
someone just guess 1,000. All right, I got a number in my mind.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
70.
32.
You said 70, right. 30. I said 36. What'd you say, TK?
32.
I was going to say 24 because I feel like I don't know, like there's 12 or.
It's typically a sitcom is around 24 a season.
Wait, no, I want to change my answer by math wrong. I was going to say they used to be 24 episode seasons. Yeah. DK said older, so I was thinking, there's probably 30 a season.
That's why I said 70. I was like, maybe they were really cramming them in.
All right, I really screwed that up.
It'll probably be 15, and you guys will be right.
Okay, whatever. What did I say?
I don't know.
36. I screwed that up. I
I
meant to say
said
36 a
32, right?
season. Oh, I see. Oh, 72. Okay. All right. The answer is 64.
Nice. Don't come for me in TV.
Damn. What'd you say, DK?
I got last.
What'd you guess?
I guess 32.
Oh, tough.
Hooray, I get Tyler
I
Conklin.
don't know about
You get Tyler
sitcom
Conklin.
TV in the 60s.
So
all
do
right?
I get Taysom Hill if he's healthy?
I think the point was nobody gets Taysom Hill,
Okay, great.
but we all get Taysom Hill. So
Great. So Craig gets Conklin. Heifetz, who you taking?
This is great. You got to scrape
I
the
don't
bottom.
even care. I guess Hunter, if
Jesus.
Drake May starts, I guess Hunter Henry, just on the off chance Drake may revise Hunter Henry's career. But man, is that depressing as shit.
Yeah.
And then Cade
all right.
Otton, Cade Otton's probably a better pick for this week, just because at least the Bucks do stuff on offense, man. The Bucks score, the Bucks throw the ball. You can
Well, who are you picking?
I'll just roll the dice that Drake May will start, and I'll take Hunter Henry.
All right. I'm taking Otton. 20% target rate over the last 3 weeks. He didn't really do much this last game, but he actually leads the team in total catches over the last 3 weeks. Cade Otton does. Again, he's catching the ball and falling down, so it's not like super valuable, but what are we doing here? This is tight ends.
Yeah, it's awful. Also, wait, did none of us take Noah Fant? I would have taken Noah Fant. Forget Hunter Henry. I would
I
take
did
Noah
not.
Fant.
Playing the
Totally
Niners.
forgot about him. Yeah, I don't care. I would take Noah Fant. He's talented.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Give me Noah Fant.
I've been
Okay.
disappointed.
Yeah, he doesn't really get targeted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, tight ends, they all suck. Quarterback,
Don't get mad at us, Heifetz.
if anyone cut Caleb Williams, I feel like you got to Caleb Williams if you need a quarterback. Like if you have Mahomes, like Caleb Williams he's running again. I feel like Caleb Williams is going to be good. Kirk Cousins, obviously, you don't need us to tell you that. He 509 passing yards. I also think Daniel Jones is like an incredible streamer. He's playing well again. The Giants are blocking. He's still running. They're playing the Bengals this week, so it's a shootout. I'm not going to lie. If your life depended on getting this right, more fantasy points rest of the season, Daniel Jones or Patrick Mahomes, who would you take?
Mahomes.
If my life depended
Would
on
you
it,
though? Well, that's the point though. Would you?
yes.
You want to know why I feel that way?
Why?
Daniel, the way they treat Daniel Jones is they're trying to get rid of him. He gets absolutely clobbered like 3 times a game on designed runs. I don't know. It's bizarre to me that they run him.
All right,
as
fine.
much as they
Points
do.
per game.
Mahomes. What are we doing?
He hasn't had more than 17 points in an entire game. He's had 15, 12, 16, and 13.
I just think you shouldn't have. If my life depends on it, I'm taking the best quarterback ever to play football.
All right, fine. If your team depended on
That's
it to
fair.
win a fantasy league, like I'm just saying, Daniel Jones, like if his
If there
worst
were
games
no
this
stakes
season,
at all, Craig, who would you take?
Yeah, you should have asked it the other way. If there were no stakes,
fine.
I would take Daniel Jones.
All right, fine, no stakes, fine. Because his worst game was Ryan O'Hanlon texted me this morning, reminded me the week 1 was against the Vikings when the Vikings had destroyed every quarterback they faced. If you throw that out, and also if you want to throw out Thursday Night Football, which is I thought his worst game of the season since week 1, which I think we should do a thing with stats. Sometimes we throw out all Thursday games as a matter of principle. All his other games, I don't know. He's been pretty solid. Like he's had
All
more
his other
points
games.
3 times than Mahomes' season high.
You guys should keep him.
That's not what I said.
It's better than Mahomes. What are you talking about?
Not what I
Let the
said.
record state that's not what I said.
Not
I
what
did
I
not
said.
say that.
Anyway, I think Daniel Jones is a really good streamer. And if Patrick Mahomes had a different name, we would be like cut Mahomes for Daniel Jones. Obviously, you don't do that, but you could.
Right.
Not really. You should trade
Malik
him.
Neighbors
Trade
is just
Mahomes.
so good too. Yeah.
All right. Defense. The Denver defense, if they're available, I think they're one of the better defenses in the league. We've been talking about it for a couple of weeks. Now it's probably too late, but I would get the Denver defense if you can. If you cannot, the Eagles are playing the Browns. Browns suck. Deshaun Watson sucks. The whole offense sucks. The Eagles are off a bye playing the Browns. I bet people cut the Eagles because they're on bye. So I would take the Eagles versus the Browns. Texans defense, if they play the Patriots, especially if the Patriots do play Drake May, I would play the Texans defense versus the Patriots and Drake May. And also, Chargers defense off a bye playing the Broncos and Bo Nix. Who did you guys see that Sean Payton called Bo Nix Ferris Bueller?
For what reason?
What was that about?
How so?
I don't know. They were screaming at each other. And then after the game, Sean Payton was like, why are you screaming Bo Nix? He said, it's part of the deal. There's still a little Ferris Bueller in this player that we got to get
like
rid of.
he's like disobeying and not listening to authority.
I wanted to ask you. I don't know what that means. There's a little Ferris Bueller in this player we got to get rid of. And he's just talking about Bo. And I love him to death. Sometimes it's my love language, which is screaming at people. But what does that mean,
That checks
Ferris
out.
Bueller? Is a troublemaker?
Yeah, he's not
It's
listening
like he's
to his
rebelling
superiors.
against authority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a very weird comp. Like Ferris Bueller's beloved.
Yeah, everyone's just you're like, oh, so you're the teacher?
Also, like in the end, was the principal the one that people thought was right?
Like, yeah, you got him back to school.
Yeah, that's odd. Sean, that just makes me think that Sean Payton hasn't seen a movie since Ferris Bueller.
That's true. When coaches start coaching, they go into a pop culture vortex.
Yeah.
None of these coaches have seen any movies that have come out since they were 23.
Yeah.
No, but like you're up. You watch more movies and TV shows than I do.
But there's a chance that the last movie Sean Payton saw in a theater was Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I think that's true. We just go back to press conferences.
That's a weird reference.
What if he's actually been secretly comparing every player to Ferris Bueller that he's ever had because he doesn't have any other touch points?
All the different characters.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams is like Cam from Ferris Bueller this week. It's just like basically a rewatchables category.
Oh my God. All right. Emails.
I
think we got to start.
Wait, do we need to get Kai in to do?
Oh, yeah. Kai.
Come on
What's
in.
going on here?
I think the trivia is going to be, I think the Kai's guys is going to be close this week, Craig. It's going to come down to the wire.
Is it? I think we got the dub, DK. I'm feeling good.
Oh, did we? Oh, good.
I'm feeling confident.
All right, give us the rundown of last week, Kai.
So last week, Heifetz came in dead last. Tyler Algier had 4 points. Dontavian Wicks had 3 points, and Taysom Hill didn't play, which is
Wicks really fucked
Wicks
everyone.
can't catch the football.
Alex emailed in and said, I think you should have a new Sunday category called Dontavian Icks for players you hyped up.
That's good. I started Wicks over Ayuk this week, so as someone who
why
just
did
did
you
that,
do that?
Because I can't stand Brandon Ayuk. He upsets me because I played him for 4 weeks straight, and I was like, I'm done. We're running with Wicks.
That's not what you should do.
That's not what we meant.
We didn't say that.
It's fine. I was taking a swing.
Don't put it in the record that we said that.
Oh,
it's fine. I whatever. I'm off of it. Craig had Trey Sermon with 15.3 points, Josh Downs with 11.4, and Tyler Conklin with 8.5.
What a week.
For a total of 35.2 points.
Yeah,
good week.
Work, Craig.
Not as good as DK's. DK had Wan'Dale Robinson with 13, Tucker Kraft with 22.8, and still has Kareem Hunt. So with 35.8 points. So just beat you, edged you out there. That's going to go in the cut.
Nice.
But there is a chance Kareem Hunt could just I don't know.
There is a chance he could fumble twice.
Yeah, he'll fumble and bench, or the fumble and hurt.
Do we just put him on the bench, Kai, before this game and just ride the dub?
That's what I would do. I feel good. Unless there's a stat correction. I don't know. It's a little scary.
We're going in without fear. We're going to start him.
Yeah.
I feel good.
I agree.
There was a report this morning that he's the starter. So let's do this.
So does this mean I get to choose something for you guys to eat, or do I need to win multiple to get to that point, or how does that?
You came in first. I think
last week I still do owe you something to eat because I did lose. This is the first time I've won. So.
I think that you're going to have to order. I think that are we keeping track, or is everything he wins an item he has to order for us a core week when we see each other in a couple weeks?
Oh, that's fun.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. You get lunch now. You get to pick our lunch orders.
Cool.
You get to pick our lunch orders or something. We'll share with the world what on earth it looks like when you take us to Chipotle.
Plain and dry.
It's going to be scary.
Eat your Chipotle.
I had
order.
Chipotle this weekend. I switched it up. I got steak and rice.
Nice.
Only.
And to be clear,
chicken and rice.
Nothing else on it?
Nothing else on it. Yeah.
Fuck.
It's so funny whenever I go to a place like that and they're just you have to go through, it's like a Subway or something like that where you go through kind of that conveyor belt kind of thing. It's they always look at me weird where they're like, you sure you don't want beans? Are you sure? And I'm like, yeah.
Kai, don't take this the wrong way, but if my dog is sick, that's what I would feed my dog.
I'm not taking that the wrong way at all. I take that as a compliment. I love
Kai is a dog.
Just to settle his stomach,
Dang, I missed it. Okay. You want the recap of this week?
Yep.
Okay. Heifetz has Tank Bigsby, Jalen Tolbert, and Noah Fant. DK picked Tyrone, Tracy, Josh Downs, and Cade Otton. Craig has Trey Sermon, Michael Wilson, and Tyler Conklin. I'm gonna run it back. Let's go, DK. Let's get a streak going here.
Can we get a measure going that we start Flacco this week again? A ballot measure of some sort.
What is what's the current trivia standings?
Current trivia standings. Craig, you're in first with 6. DK has 5, and Heifetz has 4.
Close battle.
And those are after the corrections. So you guys it's neck and neck.
All right.
Good for us.
Thank you, Kai. Yeah, we still have to figure out. You're going to try something when we're in LA too. You're going to try something. We'll do it in LA, and then we're going to eat whatever the stuff that settles.
We're going to take you on a food tour through Koreatown.
Oh my God, I'm down. Like Obi Bear. Oh my God.
Kai, have you ever done Korean barbecue?
We'll kill him.
I have done Korean barbecue.
I feel like you could actually do that because a lot of it is like meat and rice.
Yeah. No, it was pretty good. I liked it. It was obviously like, it's kind of overwhelming when you're just someone who eats very simply. There's a lot going on, but it's like when you get the food, it's good. I liked it quite a bit.
All right. Maybe
it'd be really funny if we went to Chipotle and then we eat the chicken and rice, but he just gets a totally awesome Chipotle order, and then we're like, he's equally miserable,
choking down cheese, guacamole, and corn.
Yeah. I couldn't finish it. It would be impossible.
Thank you, Kai. All right. We also got an email here from Mark.
Mark.
Baseball playoffs. Mark emailed us that he fell down a Major League Baseball no-hitter rabbit hole and came across a couple epic names he wanted to send our way.
Oh.
1880, a no-hitter was thrown by Pud Galvin.
Pud. Is it P-U-D or B-U-D-D?
P-U-D. Pud Galvin.
Pud Galvin.
I think I could have thrown a no-hitter in 1880.
How far back in time do you have to go? Like, before the 1700s, no one's hitting that thing.
Was the mound the same distance away from the plate in 1880, or have they moved it back?
I think they definitely moved it lower. It used to be higher. And Bob Gibson, I don't know. It used to be higher and lower. And
but same distance?
No, I think they moved it back at some point.
Is it 60 feet, right?
60 feet, 6 inches. Yeah. And then they lowered it. Now the bases are big. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But June 1885, no-hitter by Frank Mountain.
They don't name him like they used to. Frank Mountain.
Year before that.
Sounds like a detective.
I know,
like,
Frank
series.
Mountain. He's a character in what was it? Clark Hogback? There's a character there named Frank Mountain.
Clark Hogback and Frank Mountain. Solving crimes.
How did that work? Like, did he come through Ellis Island? His last name was like Montagna, and they're like Mountain.
Probably.
1884, there's a catcher named Joe Crotty, and there was a no-hitter that he threw to Joe Crotty by a guy named Dick Burns.
Hell yeah.
Dick Burns.
Come on. That had to have been tongue-in-cheek even at that time.
1888, right? Adonis Terry.
Ooh.
Adonis
Terry.
1890, a no-hitter in 1890 thrown by Liddell Titcomb.
Oh, I've heard about this guy. Titcomb used to be like a common surname.
These names are great.
Titcomb.
1892, no-hitter thrown by Bumpus Jones.
Bumpus
Jones throwing a catcher named Farmer Vaughn.
That's a Simpsons character.
Farmer Vaughn.
Bumpus to Farmer. Low and outside.
Farmer Vaughn.
Bumpus?
Fuck, we should do an announcer bit where we're announcing a game with all these people. Last no-hitter here on this list, 1900, July 12th, 1900. No-hitter thrown by Noodles Hahn.
Noodles.
That's probably the best one.
Noodles Hahn.
What was his real name? His name was Frank.
Craig, like 39% of everyone was named Francis in the early 1900s.
Is that right? Or did you just like Bill Simmons that percentage?
I just made that up, yeah.
Frank Hahn. And they were like, guy loves noodles.
41 complete games in 1901. That's crazy.
DK, you know that
41 complete games?
Dude,
his arm was a noodle at that point.
Noodle Hahn lived to be 80 years old.
Wow.
DK, you do know that if you were a pitcher in 1900, your name would be Quesadilla Kelly.
Quesadilla Kelly.
Hell yeah. And I would accept that. Yeah.
Should we do that? Your baseball name's just like what you eat or smoke with your last name.
Quesadilla Kelly is awesome.
Quesadilla Kelly.
There's a ring to it.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So Heifetz, what would you be? What's your favorite snack?
Craig, you would be popcorn Horlbeck.
I would. Popcorn Horlbeck kind of rips.
Popcorn Horlbeck.
Like
I'm surprised. I want to start calling you popcorn.
I'm surprised there isn't a guy in 1903 whose nickname was like Popcorn Jones.
Popcorn.
That kind of actually works really well.
In February 1903, Noodles Hahn was a student at Cincinnati Veterinary College. Asked how long he planned to play baseball. He replied that he would like to play a few more seasons.
Southpaw too.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
All right, Heifetz, what's your snack?
Noodle.
then?
What is my favorite? I don't know what I'd be called.
What's your go-to
favorite snack?
comfort food?
Yeah.
Snack. Those are different foods. A comfort
Either
food
one.
versus snack. I love.
What do you eat?
Steak with just plain rice and Chipotle.
Okay.
No, I just love. If my last meal would probably be like chicken parm.
Okay, no, but like if you're just like want a snack in your pantry, what's your go-to?
My last meal wouldn't
Raspberries?
be a quesadilla, for the record.
I like raspberries.
Raspberries?
Yeah, I like
I
keeping
know, I like that.
raspberries. They're like a
Raspberries,
good-
Heifetz.
Yeah, because like I think I'll munch on like pistachios or almonds, but they take up so much water and honestly a lot of very calorie dense. It's too much. I'll snack, but I like snacking on raspberries or banana.
Okay.
Why is that weird? Is that weird?
It's not weird.
No. I guess I don't really think of fruit when somebody's like, if someone's like, "What's your favorite snack?" I wasn't expecting raspberries
I don't keep that many snacks. I work from home, man. I can't have good snacks here.
because in my head,
that's a thing.
a snack is like a high volume food to me, and raspberries don't come off as high volume.
I can't. No, they're not. I can't have high volume snacks. I live here.
Yeah. I totally get that.
Yeah.
Heifetz. I can't have like chocolate in the house, or I'll just eat it constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess chocolate, but chocolate Heifetz doesn't really have a ring to it.
Yeah, you guys kind of threw me off my normal diet because you guys sent me a huge box of cookies. I ate all of them already, and there were a lot in there.
There were 13.
I'm gonna have to go on a diet now.
Honestly, now I'm coming back around. Maybe it should be Danny Chicken Parm Heifetz. That's pretty sweet.
Chicken parm Heifetz.
Chicken Parm Heifetz sounds like he was in the. That sounds like a character from The Sandlot.
Yeah, it does. Chicken parm Heifetz. Oh wait, that reminds me. Wait, oh no, I just forgot again. No, what did it remind me of?
Chicken Parm Heifetz, Sandlot, nicknames.
You mentioned, you know the Colorado School of Mines?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we also thought it was the Colorado School of Mimes.
Yeah.
Well, there's one.
There's a South Dakota School of Mines. There's a South Dakota School of Mines. And I saw a video. They had an 89-yard punt. They were at their own 10 and they punted to like the 1 yard line. But there's a South Dakota School of Mines.
89-yard
to the
punt?
Colorado School. I know, it's crazy. But there are way more schools of mines.
Yeah, there's more than one mine school.
What is their mascot?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because the Colorado mascot, what was it again?
A
the
donkey?
Ore Diggers.
Oh, the Ore Diggers, yeah.
The Ore Diggers? Wasn't it that?
Yeah, South Dakota School of Mines.
South Dakota, it is Grubby the Miner.
Okay. No, they're the Hard
His
Rockers.
name's Grubby. Oh, the Hard Rockers. And then the mascot's
clever.
Grubby the Miner. Got it.
Yeah, the South Dakota Mines Hard Rockers.
Grubby the Miner.
Dude, Hard Rockers is kind of badass.
Hard Rockers is pretty cool. Hard Rock and Heifetz would be pretty good.
You can't come up with your own
Heifetz.
nickname, pal.
You asked
Sorry,
me,
buddy. You like chicken parm.
He wants Hard Rock and Heifetz. We're giving him chicken
Wait,
parm.
that's like, who was the guy who was called, Sloppy Thurston was
He was super organized.
Because he was really neat.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah,
teetotaler.
it's like how Tank Dell weighs 165 pounds.
Yeah. All right. Next thing. This one's from, well, first of all, from Noah. Noah wanted to know if you guys haven't listened to Craig at the end of the Sunday show, highly recommend. Noah just emailed in Craig whispering to the guy who was asking him to be quiet in his hotel room. This doesn't make it any better, but I do have a podcast. It's the hardest I've laughed in a long time.
Yeah.
This doesn't make it any better, but I have a podcast.
I'm
Highly
filled with
recommend people
shame
listen to that.
saying this, but
It's 1% better than me just doing this for fun.
at least
yeah.
at least your wires are plugged in, Craig.
There's somebody on the other
You're
end.
not just practicing.
Ryan, last one from Ryan. Ryan emailed in last episode. We talked about Stacey's mom, Fountains of Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan says, I'm a little younger than DK, so like most people, I only knew about Fountains of Wayne through Stacey's mom. I was blown away to find out more about the singer Adam Schlesinger. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he's a multiple-time Emmy and Grammy Award winner for songwriting. He's been nominated for Tony, Golden Globe, and Academy Awards. He wrote the main song from That Thing You Do, which I think is one of the best songs ever written for a movie, obviously along with Scotty Doesn't Know. And he was also in a side band that at one point was with one of the Hanson brothers. And he is a cousin of the actor John Bernthal, and unfortunately, tragically died of COVID early on in the pandemic. But for his band being mostly known as a one-hit wonder, he truly had a remarkable career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't know any of that. Very cool. Cousins with John Bernthal. Interesting.
Yeah. It's crazy. Nominated for a Tony, Golden Globe, and Academy Award is one of the harder things you can do in life.
Almost an
Incredibly
EGOT.
talented.
That's crazy.
What's his name again?
Adam Schlesinger.
Adam
Schlesinger.
Schlesinger. Okay. Cool. Fountains of Wayne. Shouts out. Make the movie.
All right. There we go.
too.
Boom.
Yeah.
Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Everyone, thank you for emailing us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Send us fantasy courts and follow us on Instagram and TikTok, Ringer Fantasy Football. Thank you, Carlos Sakai, for producing this episode. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Kiera. Thank you, everyone, for help behind the scenes. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Hanson. You guys just nod.
Bop.
It's a hard song to sing.
Hey, that was like you got the mbop right.
It only took 10,000 tries.
You didn't say mbop.
I know. I had to think about it, though. That was the pause.
It is kind of the hardest song to like describe to somebody. They're like, how does mbop go? It's like, mbop, stibba-dop, they're like, no, but what are the lyrics? And you're like, those are the lyrics.
They have a brewery. Should we bring them on the show?
It's like in the Midwest, right? Where is it?
If they probably want to
Like
plug
Oklahoma
their beer,
or something? Kansas?
yeah, I think we could get them.
You think
and
we-
I'll just be like, I didn't know about your stuff.
Yeah, you'll be like,
They're in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
yeah.
Do you guys like My Chemical Romance?
They probably do.
The funny thing is, I do like the My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, I wasn't saying they were a bad band.
Yeah.
Or that song is bad. Teenagers.
I just never heard of it. I don't know, man.
Shoo-ba-da-da-doom-ba-ba-ooh. Yeah,
You sing it
yeah.
again. Goodbye, everyone.